Promotional consideration provided by
Tri-State Wrestling presents Proving Grounds, May 28th at the Eagles Lodge in Vincennes. Doors open at 6, bell time is at 7, and costs only $5 at the door for anyone over the age of 4. Kids 4 and under are free. Come out and see Will Bray take on Zach Hogan. The winner will decide the stipulation of their TSW World Heavyweight title match at Night of Champions. Also, check out some of the hottest local indie wrestlers trying to make a name for themselves in match exclusive to TSW, the Proving Grounds match. Many compete, but only one can win and earn a spot on the roster. So come on out for a night of family fun, and don't worry about dinner. The Eagles have concessions on hand. So bring the whole family. All the money raised goes to help the family of Phyllis Miracle Hall, who lost her battle with cancer. Come out to the Vincennes Eagles May 28th and show your support.
It's 10 Count Block!
Hello and welcome to the 10 Count Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Tiller. Wherever you are and however you're listening, thanks for making us a part of your day. Before we go any further, we are fan and listener supported, bringing this podcast to you for free every Saturday. Be sure and support us by subscribing on iTunes and SoundCloud. And while you're at it, rate us on iTunes. That 5-star rating helps get us some attention and attract new listeners and sponsors. You can also visit our website, 10countblog.wordpress.com. We post every podcast there, as well as some cool blog entries. You can also check out our social media and podcast page. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as checking out some of our favorite podcasts. And finally, be sure to check out our local indie promotions page, where we've provided links to some of the area's hottest indie promotions. That's all at 10countblog.wordpress.com. It's part 2, y'all. The Juggernauts are back this week to continue our conversation about all things wrestling. This week we chat a little bit more about boy bands, inciting riots, and a little more craziness. If you liked last week's show, you're going to love this week's show, and it's hard not to laugh at some of the great stories these guys tell. We have to say a major thank you to Michael Madrox and Mike Blitz. Last week's podcast shattered our listen record. Those two guys got out and beat the bushes, helping us promote, and the numbers showed. This week, I want to challenge everyone listening to share this podcast and help make our fan base bigger so that we can continue to promote indie wrestling on a large scale. Again, we put out a disclaimer. Some of the language in this week's podcast may not be for the faint of heart, so if you're easily offended, you may want to steer clear. The views and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 10 Count Blog or its ownership. We also want to make sure we give our friends at Rollick a plug. They've allowed us to use their song, Snorkeling into Oblivion, as the official theme of the 10 Count Podcast. Be sure and head on over to Facebook and give them a like and take a moment and download their latest album. They're giving it to you for free. And if you're in the Vincennes area on June 25th around 2 p.m., go check out their event, the Rollick Frolic, at the Vincennes Riverfront Pavilion on 2nd Street. Lots of great bands on the card for that show. So without further ado, it's the return of Mike Blitz and Michael Madrox, the Juggernauts.
promotional consideration provided by
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the...
Evansville, Indiana, on Saturday, May 28th. Get ready for an exciting night of professional wrestling as CCW proudly presents Redemption. Eddie Young and the real deal, Derek Neal, collide in a grudge match that's guaranteed to bring the house down. After ruthless attacks, LT Falk and Fireball Roberts team up to take on Stan Sierra and the Double R superstar, Randy Royal. Also in action, legendary Larry D, Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, Mark Houston, and many more. Witness all the hard-hitting action on May 28th at the legendary Evansville Memorial Coliseum. Tickets on sale now at the Coliseum box office. General admission is only $10 or $5 with a valid military ID. VIP tables also available. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and bell time is at 7:30 p.m. Check out the CCW Facebook page for more info. CCW Redemption on May 28th. A legacy will be born. Be there.
So let's get off the heavy topic. We've got a ton more to cover. I mean, I'm sitting here looking. We're not even halfway through the list. But I gotta ask you, Madrox. You posted a video to 10 Count's Facebook page right before Tag Team Warfare, and it was this promo. It was really dark. Talk a little bit about that and that particular storyline, because it seemed like you guys kind of like the darker stuff.
My life's pretty much a living horror story. Death, darkness has followed me around ever since birth.
If you've ever watched American Horror Story, they might as well make a whole season of his life.
Everyone I've ever known or in my family has died either from cancer, murder, or suicide. So nothing is new there to me there, and I just embrace the evil, I guess. Most people are look at death as a big fear and taboo. I'm just let's make some money off of it. Come on now, let's shoot a promo. But at the time, I was the one-man boy band, Michael Madrox, 1/3 of the Body Slam Bros, BSB, and Tony Vanetti and me did a show in Winslow, and he grabbed this chain after the show, and Tony's one of the guys I helped train and get into professional wrestling. I don't know what was with him that night, but he knew that my real father hung himself when I was 3 years old. And he decided, hey, let's recreate this. Tied a chain around my neck and hung me off a stage.
And this is not kayfabe? This is something that actually happened?
Yeah, this is legit stuff. And it just made me snap. And I was like, oh, he's going to bring up my tortured childhood and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm going to hit him where it hurts. Tony's a big guy. He can take beating. Pain's not going to hurt him. So I went straight for his family. I stalked his wife for a few days, found out her schedule and everything. I knew about Tony's past because, like I said, I trained him. I thought we were best friends.
You guys were pretty much like brothers.
Yeah, but I knew a location that really would plague him and his wife. And that video is actually shot in the house where her mother died in. Those two are the ones that found her body in that house. That house was shut off. No one's been in there since the death. Everything in that house is left there from her mother. And so I decided to break in there and kidnap his wife and tie her to a chair and cover her in gasoline. But
I had no part in that whatsoever. I just want to say that. He was acting alone on that. I literally tried contacting him for days, and I seen all the crazy stuff. And then somebody sent me this link to this promo. I don't remember who it was, and it was somebody from TSW, and then they're like, Madrox has gone crazy, you gotta find him.
See, with Madrox, I went good, and you can say, try to put the evil and stuff behind me, but deep down there's always that darkness in my soul, and just little things like that ain't so little to me bring out the worst part of Michael Madrox, and Don found that out. I realized that hurting his wife wasn't going to be the best option to hurt him. I wanted to do it in the ring, so I let her go. She still doesn't talk to me to this day. I don't understand why. But, yeah, that was... Looking back on it, it was a very scary thing for me to do. Just the look in my eyes scares myself sometimes. I had family disown me. I had friends disown me over that. The cops were called over that video. Their family were calling the police on me. All kinds of great wink wink things happened from that video. But yeah, that sums it up. And then I went on to a dog collar match, and we beat the shit out of each other. And at the end of it, I won. So
talk about the dog collar match. I've been wanting to ask you about that since we got here. How does that work? I don't think I've ever actually seen one in WWE or anywhere else.
Dog collar matches mainly come from the 70s and the 80s. They're really popular in the territories. Pretty much two guys in the ring, dog collar on your neck, 18-inch steel chain between you guys. No running away, no getting away from your opponent. We decided dog collar match was going to be the best way to end this feud, which obviously it didn't because I still hate that fat piece of shit. But, yeah, dog collars, they're no joke. Weapons and stuff, there's always a sweet spot you hope your opponent hits you with where it doesn't hurt as bad. There's no sweet spot on a steel chain. Locked up in the match, beat him with the chain, he beat me. There's chair shots galore. got him with a really sick one. You should watch that and just listen to the sound. He loved me for that one.
And it is on YouTube.
Yes, it is. Just YouTube, MADR0X812 pulls up all the videos that I posted myself. That match is on there and a few other violent matches. If you like violent, there's some great technical wrestling on there. A lot of tag team action, so check it out. But one of the things I liked the most about that match was after the match, Tracy Smothers was sitting in the crowd. Both of us were busted open, bloody. We're in the back getting 10-2. Tracy Smothers made a point to come and find us, shake our hands, and tell us how great that match was, and he hasn't seen anything that stiff in so many years. That made me proud as a worker to have one of your peers find you after your match and just tell you how great that was. So,
And not only a peer, a legend of the business.
So that was a big plus for me. The match was a lot of fun, except for, getting busted open and choked and beat, but I think I got my point across at the time.
So Blitz, what's going through your head watching all this?
Well, what's going through my head is I knew what he was capable of, and I was trying to get him back out of that whole boy band phase that he was within in his life. I mean, we're friends, we're pretty much brothers, and I accepted that phase, and I went along with that phase of his life. That
I will always be the one-man boy band. You can't take that away from me.
All right. Well, he would. All right. Well, I was just trying to get him back. I was just trying to get him back to the old Madrox instead of dancing around to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and whatever other boy band stuff you did.
98 Degrees, Hanson, LFO, the Jonas Brothers, Justin Bieber, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
I partially blame Travis Weir, but we're getting off topic here.
And just the fact that you rattled those off without even thinking about it. Sorry.
I blame Travis Weir for your whole boy band thing. I partially blame him for that, and we'll get back on topic on this, but
we got to revisit the boy band. I got to know about this.
Yeah,
that's fine. I can talk about boy bands for days.
We'll revisit that and how that came about. But I was just trying to get him back to the old Madrox, and I was talking to him outside the ring. We did a promo before one of our tag matches that we did a couple shows before they even had their match at Winslow, or was it Petersburg, Winslow, one of the two places. And I said, look, I need the old Michael Madrox back because that's the only way we're going to win. Because at that point, we were on a losing streak. And if anybody knows me, I'm not saying I don't hate losing, but I just, at a certain point, you just kind of go, we got to have at least one win there. We got to have at least one. And we're on a long, long losing streak, and I'm talking about like 6-7 month losing streak going.
His fault.
Partially yours as well.
You did the dance moves.
I'm not. I gave in. I did your dance moves. Okay, we're getting off topic, and
your worm was a little crooked. That's why we lost.
When I seen it snap in his eyes on that promo, I was just like, this is not regular Michael Madrox. This is the sadistic psycho Michael Madrox that I've only seen maybe one or two other times ever, and I know it's not a good thing when he goes to that place, because when he goes to that place, he's either gonna really do something really, really bad, or it's pretty much gonna be the end of him. So I mean, when I seen that match happen and I was at ringside for that match, I was just at every single point. I was just like, when's enough going to be enough? You took his wife hostage. You beating each other with chairs, with chains, with tables, pretty much with everything. You're both busted open. You're both bloody. When's enough? And then
when he quit breathing.
Well, I mean, you still resent him. I don't know what happened between you two. You guys have your own thing going on. I mean, I've tried to hash it out with you guys on that. We
had dark matter, things were good, and then I come back and he's Sean Franklin. Forget that, Don.
But besides past,
I hate everyone. You know this.
Yeah, I know you hate everyone, and I try to be the voice of reason sometimes, but sometimes
Michael Blitz is like the father figure of the posse. He's the voice in the back going, "No, put that down. No, don't do that. No, we can't go there." And that's why I love him. He's the yin to my yang. I'm the crazy. He's the He's basically like my 2-year-old brother or 2-year-old older father figure.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
my
much.
little big brother.
Only about a year older. 27, 26, whatever.
Whatever.
Potato. But besides that, it was really got down to one of those points to where I was just like, when's enough going to be enough? And I think after that match, I sat down and I talked with him, and he said, I feel a lot better. And I think I remember him saying that, and I said, are you the boy band or are you Michael Madrox? And he said, I'm Michael Madrox again, but I'm not at that level where I was before that match. And I said, all right, then we're good. We're square. And then after that, it was just, you guys both took time off for a little bit. Like you said, he came back as Sean Franklin. And why he came back as Sean Franklin, I don't know. I haven't talked to Don. I haven't seen Don and Sean, whatever, Don, Sean.
Haven't seen him since Dark Matter, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in about a year. It was almost a year. Tag Team Warfare was about 10 months that we'd taken off.
I can't tell how much of this is kayfabe and how much of it isn't. So I guess that speaks to your all's ability to tell a story. So talk about boy band. I gotta ask about it because it seems like that's just you guys don't fit the mold for boy band.
All right, I'm gonna go on record here real quick and say I hate the boy band thing.
He loved the boy band thing.
I hate the boy band thing.
He says this, but every show we jam out to the Backstreet Boys on the way
Travis
there.
Weir and him had this idea. We were out just one night and just going out, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, freaking, I think it was Backstreet Boys came on. And they made me turn up the radio as loud as it was good. And they're just jamming out the Backstreet Boys.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And in their head, something clicked. Because I believe
it was
the very next show at CWF that they had. And they're coming back. They're coming out and they're like, Blitz, play this music for us. And at the time, I had a broken foot, so I wasn't wrestling. I was helping run the show. And I was like, all right. And then I play it real quick and without the system set up. And I was like, are you guys serious right now? And they go, yeah. We're going to be the boy band now. And I was like, you guys can't be a boy band. Look at you two. And
mind you, Travis is wider than you, about 340-some pounds, all men, baby. And you see my body. But I am AJ's doppelganger, and he's Nick's doppelganger from the Backstreet Boys. So it works out perfect. And this is little Howie.
I'm not freaking Howie.
You're Howie. He's the only dark-skinned one in the group. Damn it, you're Howie.
Whatever. But
it's bad when you argue over which Backstreet Boy you are. I feel like I'm back in my sixth grade.
I got AJ for being the alcoholic.
I'm not even a Backstreet Boy. I don't even want to be associated with that. I don't even know why we're talking about
body
this.
Slam, bro.
I don't even want to be. No, I don't even want to be associated with that whole.
We had
thing.
a lot of fun with BSB though.
Somewhat of fun. Somewhat.
Once we stopped dancing, you had fun. Once we were in the ring, you had fun, right? It's just the entrance you hated.
Somewhat.
We used to come out doing lap dances. We'd make money on the way to the ring as the Body Slam Bros, did we not?
True story. Well, let me rephrase that. You and Travis did that. I did not do that. We're just gonna.
His fiance would have been mad.
Yeah, well,
she'd cut him.
We're just gonna leave that. We'll leave that there. But they come up with this idea for it, and then instantly it caught on. And I was just sitting there at the sound, and they're trying. And I believe they're facing Bo Sawyer and Aaron Matthews. And I'm like, it'd be really funny to hit their music right now, right at the beginning of the match. And I hit it, and they started dancing. And it was just the most hysterical reaction that we got. That video's on YouTube. It's on my page.
It's private, though. You got to unprivate it.
Okay, fine. I'll unprivate it.
That's at MikeBlitzNicky.com.
No, it's at just Mike Blitz. You can look up pretty much any of the videos through my name, and a list of just different ones will come up.
I may or may not have given an old woman a stroke/heart attack by giving her a lap dance before my match at one point in time.
Yeah, that's true. It did happen, but that was at TSW too, and that pretty much just stopped the whole dang show thanks to you.
Yeah, well,
but
look at this body. Who wouldn't get hot and bothered?
But anyways, they would come out dancing. They do their thing, and I was just like the father to his son. You accept everything that they are. So I just went along with it. Go dancing, doing
We
the
bought him
worm.
this sweet red leather pleather trench coat from the Goodwill.
And you know what? I still have it. I wore it at Night of Champions. I told you, only big shows you get that. I wore it at the Night of Champions.
He looked like a little Howie mixed with like Devo. And it was just so cute. The women were like, "Oh, Mark Bliss, let me touch your butt." And he's like,
Okay.
no, he.
No, you only dress up nice for the big shows. You remember that, okay? Ground Zero, Night of Champions. I probably should have busted it out at Tag Team Warfare.
You
but-
should have busted out the little Devo jacket at Tag Team Warfare.
But, you know, only the big shows you dress up for.
But yeah, the boy band, we had a lot of fun. I think it shocked the most people at TSW that Michael Madrox could be a face and a good guy. And, like, not just a face and good guy, but the biggest pop during the shows whatsoever. Like, that Backstreet Boys music hit, there'd not be a body sitting down. They'd all be up clapping to everybody, singing, dancing, hoping that I would come by and dance on them. It was a lot of fun, and then I was like, meh, I don't like being nice anymore. That means I got to come out here for intermission and sign autographs, and I don't like that.
And everybody I've had on the show, I think, says it's easier to be heel than it is to be face. Talk a little bit about that dynamic there for you guys.
Everyone says that just because people don't want to put in the effort of being face, is my opinion. I honestly think it's easier to be face. You just come out there and show the crowd a little bit of, hey, I'm on your side, let's go, and they instantly like you. It's the heel's job to make them like the face. It's easier for me to be a heel because I can go out there with anybody, some schmuck on the street, and I come out first, I'm going to make that guy get cheered. That's pretty much my opinion on it. I just think people just don't want to put in the effort to get themselves over other than by flipping, and flipping ain't going to get you over.
Kind of Roman Reigns syndrome where
Exactly.
it doesn't matter who he's fighting, he's the heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. It's pretty much people want to get cheered without putting the work into it, and they think that, oh, I'm heel, I'm gonna instantly get booed.
Like when we were faces, we'd show up to the shows 4 hours early, sit out in the parking lot with the fans, give out free stuff, sign autographs, let them know that we appreciated them. We'd do a contest on Facebook, like bring your signs in, you get to manage us to the ring if you got the best signs, stuff like that. We made the fans feel involved. And, like, now it's like the faces don't want to do that, per se. Everyone's just like, I'm just here to get my shit in and get over. There's no effort anymore.
I agree with that. I can't put it into better words, man. It's more like a challenge there to everybody else. It's just we've seen a lot of people come through and switch from face to heel, and I've seen some people do some good turns and some bad turns, and it's just one of those things. Like when
The
we were
flip flopping's got to stop. Like,
Yeah.
I was heel in TSW 4 or 5.
long before I even came about.
But anyway, I went to hit face, and I was a complete face for 1.5 years before I even edged about a turn. So, like, this whole, oh, I'm face this show, and then 2 months later I'm going to be heel, and then it just, the fans don't care about that crap. They want somebody they can invest their time, their emotions into, and make them want to keep coming back. If they're like, oh, he's a bad guy, oh, he's a good guy, oh, it makes no sense.
And it
Kayfabe, guys, kayfabe.
It goes back to the point where we were talking about the strap match, where the fans literally wanted to beat the crap out of the heel, and wanted to protect the face.
All
as
except
much
one
as possible.
fan.
Okay, your son beat me with the belt and got me with one good shot. I will give him that. You left me a
Shouts
welt.
to Aiden, Daddy loves you.
Yep, let the welt across my chest, everything, and
He made me proud.
it was a good shot. But that's the job. That's the job that you do. Everybody has a job. And I talk about it. I talk about it especially in my shoot job, that everybody, you're supposed to come in, just do your job, and everything else takes care of itself. And a lot of these guys don't come in and do their job anymore. They come in, they go, I want to do this, this, and this, and that's it. Okay, well, what am I gonna do? I don't know. What are you gonna do? The job is the heel, control the match. The job is the face, is pretty much to, put the take the beating, make it look good, to put the heel over, and then eventually when the tides switch and you come back, the crowd's up on that roller coaster with you on the comeback, and you're going down the roller coaster, and there's a lot of times I hear the fans out there, they're at their peak, and people are still going and hitting moves, and then they lose the crowd. I felt like our tag match was a good example of just this past show. We came out, everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody got in the ring as far as I know, but we had them on that ride with us and started up real good with the diaper in your mouth. And
Forget that diaper.
the shit that went in your mouth.
You're never going to let that go, are you?
No.
Tell my counselor all about this.
All right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to hear potty mouth chants coming out next time we come.
Don't give them ideas!
Potty mouth, I like it.
So, but it started out good, and then we went to a good, standstill, and Sean Franklin and Doc got in the ring. They started slugging it out, and the fans really enjoyed that. Don the ref got in the ring and had a good...
Hey, Don the ref, she gets in that ring, everyone's hesitant to hit her. Send her my way, I'll kick her right in the face. I don't care.
True.
Woman, man, or not, you're in the ring with me, you're getting kicked.
True story, and I'm a wholehearted believer in that. You want to get in the ring, if you want to wrestle with the guys and be in there with the guys, you got to get treated like a guy. You're going to get hit like a guy, so...
It's nothing against women. It's like the way I look at it. Like, we've had women train with us, and I'm like, you're going to get hit as hard as I hit the men. I ain't going to special coat anything for you guys. Like, you're in the ring with me, expect my full best, and I expect the full best back from you. Don't come in there and be like, oh, she's a girl, I'm not going to hit her. I'll walk over and hit her in the face. I mean, I'll make it look good and make sure she's safe, but...
Well, and it's obvious that things like that are marketable. I mean, look what Lucha Underground is doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, who was it? Sexy Star that was involved in a trios championship team. So I mean, there's a ton of stuff like that. It's not like you couldn't have done that, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But in today's day and age, I think that's completely acceptable.
Yeah, like Chloe Bell Smothers, she's in there with the guys. She's just fine. She knows that like she'll go in there and wrestle women. She'll go out there, biggest toughest guy too, and kick him in the face. She don't care. She's a good example of that.
And I've went around and I've tried to get Barry, and I don't think it's so much Steven. I think it's more Barry is hesitant on it because of the whole domestic stuff and everything like that goes along with it. But it's like you said, Lucha Underground's hit on that, and they're thriving off of it. And I think it's honestly one of the best products because of it, because it's literally everybody as a whole is working together to make it a good product. And I tried doing that once before with one of their trainees that was coming up, and try to involve her in an angle and stuff like that, and ended up
beat her with a kendo stick. There was no involving with it.
Okay, she got in the ring. She knew the risks getting in the ring, and she gave me the wrong answer to the question that I asked, and yeah, she got a beating for it. So
he beat her
with the kendo stick.
He beat her like she owed him money.
It was 3 shots, but it was
3 violent shots. And he's got that Mexican lawnmower cutting speed, so like 3 shots for like 1,005.
It got the reaction and the point across, so it was probably one of I want to say it was a proud moment, but it's definitely a memorable moment. It
was a proud moment. Look at that smile on your face.
I
wish you people could see him smiling right now. Ear to ear grin. That wasn't a proud moment. Bull fucking shit. That was a proud moment.
It was a proud moment for the fact that
you enjoyed it. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it.
I think there was more.
So good beating that girl with a kendo stick. Oh, my nipples are erect.
I think there are certain people who enjoyed it more than I did. Let's just say it that way.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't even there.
You weren't even there.
But I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
I felt it across the state.
Yeah, all the way in freaking Terre Haute. But besides that, you just made me go blank there for a second.
This is what I'm good at.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, especially when you
all right, rest hold.
Drop me on my freaking head.
One time. Keep bringing that shit up.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so we are at 1 hour and 7 minutes now, and I've still got at least 3 things that I want to bring up with you guys. So let's move on to the next one. I want to talk about Blitz, your foot injury, and the story you were telling us earlier about how you kind of sold it as you had one, but you didn't. Talk a little bit about that. That's a really neat story.
Yeah, Night of Champions, they have what is called a Feast or Fired match, which is kind of a...
Feast or Famine, I think.
Yeah.
Feast or something.
Yeah, Feast and Starve, that's what it is. And it was a cool concept idea. It was brought up by Will Braid to Steven. where pretty much there's keys that are on each side of the ring posts, and they're they're on the ceiling, and you have to climb up and get them. And each key is to a briefcase. Well, the one wrestler who doesn't get a key is pretty much terminated from TSW. He's banned for a whole year, or he can't get a title shot for a whole year, something like that. Well, partway through that match, I believe it was the Banshee was in that match, and he jumped off, and I went to go catch him, and he landed wrong on top of me, and I broke my foot. I actually had it was called a Liz Frank fracture. It's one of the worst fractures you can get in your foot, and I was out for about.
Not to be confused with Anne Frank.
Funny. But I was out for about 5-6 months, and then I was in contact with Steven the whole time, and Barry, and let him know what was going on and how the healing process was going.
Can I chime in something really quick?
Yeah.
Who held you in the back seat all the way to Terre Haute to the emergency room?
Hey, you know what?
I'm a good friend.
Yeah, whatever. It was fucking hurting. Let's just put it that way. The foot was swollen. The worst mistake I ever made was taking the shoe off. Let's just leave it at that, because my foot freaking swelled up like a balloon. Like, horribly. It was about 10 times the size of my normal foot. But, contact with them, and I presented an idea to them on how I wanted to come back and cash in. And I said, well, let's keep that I'm fully healed a secret. I'm going to come back. I'm going to have crutches, I'm going to have the boot, I'm going to have the whole spiel, and I'm going to come out and say that I have to return the contract. Well, I go out, and then AJ Riley was the champion at the time, and I go out and tell him I have to return this because I'm going to have surgery, and I'm done. I'm calling it a career. I give him the briefcase, and there's no contract in it, and when he goes to pull out the contract to rip it up, I proceed to hit him with a crutch, and give him a little kick with the boot, pull out the contract out of the boot, and then give him another kick for good measure with it, and take the boot off, cover him 1, 2, 3, and then was the champion. Walked out with my first singles title in TSW, the U.S. title, and it was honestly one of the best Raw reactions, not just from the fans, but from the guys in the back, because nobody knew. Nobody knew but you and Barry and Steven. I didn't even
like you at the time.
Barry, Steven, and that was about it. No one else really knew. I came in on crutches, and all the guys were happy to see me, and they knew I had been out, and it was long recovery, and it was just one of those things that we wanted an honest, raw, real reaction, and it's kind of like the whole kendo stick with the girl thing. Nobody else knew about that except for the people that were involved with it.
And your fantasies inside your head.
Shut up. But it's one of those things that you get an honest, raw reaction from it, the shock and the awe, and I think that's what wrestling is missing, especially on the indie scene. In the indie scene, you want people to just do cool, crazy, spots, and that's what people notice and how people get noticed. But it's also, I think, with the raw reaction from it, I think that's what's going to draw fans in. I think that's what's going to, help keep people interested, because it leaves everything wide open. You don't know what's going to happen. Like the whole thing with, yeah. Really? You're just going to say yeah?
I was hyping you up, bro.
Yeah. Like, the whole, for instance, you don't know what type of, between Zach and Will, they're having a match to winner chooses stipulation. They can choose anything that they want.
Beat a girl with a kendo stick on a pole match.
You can do a Legos match. You can beat the girl on a kendo stick match.
Shrimp on the Barbie death match.
You could have, freaking special guest referee. You can have anything you want. But
fake hand for Mae Young's outer plexus match.
But the thing is you don't know.
I don't want to see that match.
You don't know the outcome of how they're going to win that match to get to that stipulation, and the stipulation that's in their head that's going to try to help them win the championship. There's so many different possibilities that are out there, and I think that's what makes their storyline even more that interesting, is that it's the unknown factor. And that's what a lot of stories in wrestling is missing. Everything is too predictable. It's one way that it's going to go.
The same old shit on repeat.
And a lot of the best wrestling, Attitude Era, it was all about the storytelling. It was all about, I mean, every character had a story. There may have only been 4 or 5 matches on the 3-hour Raw, but every match, every card had a story. And I think that's when wrestling was kind of in its glory days. Speaking of great storytelling, that leads me into my next question. Madrox, I gotta know, our fans have to know, our listeners have to hear this story about the time you incited a riot.
Okay. It was Petersburg, right?
Yeah.
Or Princeton, or
Petersburg. It was Petersburg.
one of them P-towns.
Because it was bleachers on the one side.
County Special Olympics show. There's about 250, 300 supporters for the Special Olympics, including the whole Special Olympic team. Yeah, don't let me know this stuff before I come to a show. At the time, it was me, JC Hero, and Dickie Wabash. What's up, Dickie? Missed you, buddy. Come back to wrestling. But came out to the ring on office chairs, like the one you're sitting in right now. Like, you people at home can imagine a chair on wheels. Imagine 2 big, tattooed, mohawked guys spinning down an aisleway.
With the stuffed squirrel.
With a stuffed squirrel butt. It was just the butt.
Oh.
No head.
Bucky.
And then we get up to the ring, and I grab the invisible microphone from Dickie Wabash. For those who don't know what that is, that's just holding your hand like you're holding a microphone with nothing really there. And then I started to proceed to pick on the Special Olympics people, asking them what they thought of the Juggernauts, blah, blah, blah.
We need to use that again, by the way.
Yes, we do. Started calling them stupid for not realizing there's nothing in my hand, and they're sitting there screaming in my hand like idiots, basically. And then I get in the ring. Go ahead.
I was gonna, yeah, real quick. I believe that was something CM Punk made famous.
Yes, he did. Then I get in the ring, and I got the genius idea to get on the mic, which I do occasionally because I like hearing myself talk. But apparently when you have around 200 people with disabilities and mental disabilities, there's 2 things you shouldn't tell them, apparently. I myself told them both. I just made it clear that I had 2 things that everyone in the crowd wanted: a fully functioning brain and a fully posable body. And I swear to God, it sounded like Helen Keller times 300 yelled at me. All you hear is all coming down the bleachers and everything. Then we go and get the hometown boys beat up on the outside. Stephen Mitchell and Titus Morton.
Yeah.
O'Neil. Not O'Neil. That's WWE. Titus something.
Titus Morton, I believe it was.
And as I'm sitting there beating Steven with the chair, the crowd's already hating me for the course of the match. The fans start bum rushing around ringside because I'm hurting their superhero. He's on the ground.
And mind you, Steven is one of their top faces at this point. He's just up and coming. And
he's their Cena at the time.
Yeah, pretty much. He's up and coming when Cena first came in.
And so as I'm beating him in the gut with the chair, he's like, get to the back, get to the back. You're going to cause a riot. You're causing a riot. Get to the back. It's not safe. And I'm like, good. Yes. More. And at some point, the fans started to come down and get in our faces. Security stepped in. It didn't work because, I mean, we're the bad guys. We're not going to back down from some fans and their walkers. So a gentleman, I'm pretty sure he was an Army veteran, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
One of those crazy old guys with a bunch of patches. Decided to pull his revolver out and stick it in my face. At this point, security leaves the building. And it was up to Mike Blitz.
And the other guys in the back, well, what was that at the time? Don and our other personal security, Kyle, kind of all stepped in, and we tried to separate everybody. And literally, it was them.
I had the whole locker room come and drag me out by my arms and legs.
Yeah. It was literally, we had to get escorted out of that building through a back way.
And I don't think I've been in that building since.
No. I've been. They sort of remember what happened. Not very good reaction every time I go there.
That is the go-to story when Steven talks about to his security guys about what to make sure doesn't happen. So
And
I kind of got a
what makes
legacy
sure-
at TSW for that one.
What makes sure not to do as well, which is run the opposite way. I understand there's a gun involved, but let's try to...
Speaking of Steven, another funny story I just thought of. Tag team street fight, right, for the TSW tag titles. Steven's got a bald head, you know. He turtle waxes it and make it all look nice and shiny. I grab a cookie sheet, right? And it's one of those big ones from like the industrial size, the thick, heavy ones. So I pull it back and I hit him so hard, the cookie sheet slides out of my hand because of all the sweat and turtle wax from his head. And it slid across his head after it dented. and it flew 2 rows back and hit this little 3-year-old girl right in the face. That's also something I was kind of proud of. It made me really happy.
Normally you hear guys say stuff like, oh, I accidentally kicked this little girl and I felt so bad I wanted to cry. No, Mike Madrox is just, he's super proud.
I've made my own son piss his pants while sitting on his mother's lap watching me wrestle before. I am proud of those moments like that.
True story. I was there.
Oh my gosh. All right, last thing I wanted to get to, and we are way over time. I'd say this will probably be a 2-parter, but I wanted
6 parts. Let's just go balls to the wall.
I wish we could.
We got all night. We got stories for days. I mean, we haven't touched on Juggernaut TV. We haven't touched on any of his other tag team title reigns at ICW, CWF. You know, plenty of other stories that we got.
We'll have to come back sometime.
So absolutely, we'll book it right now. At some point in the very near future, Juggernauts will be on 10 Count Podcast once again. But I do have to ask you one more thing. I did want to talk about, you guys have a YouTube channel. Talk a little bit about how people can support you and check out that YouTube channel. What's on it anyway? What is some?
Mine personal is a bunch of matches of me that I've found and stolen off the internet and put them back up under my name because that's fair, right? I haven't really added anything to it lately. Since we're back, though, Juggernaut TV is something new to watch. There's a whole little folder just for that. It's the antics of the road life and the locker room life of the Juggernauts. You get to see an inside comical look about how we are in real life, which isn't too much different from what you see in the ring.
Yeah, it's just pretty much like we're smart asses. We just have fun with whatever we do. Pretty much all that. But yeah, Juggernaut TV is one of those things that we had started and just uploaded just stupid stuff from the road that we would do. Eating suntan lotion that you guys did.
Shut up, Blitz.
Pretty much any random stuff that we would do. Like, we found a bat in the locker room, we videotaped that.
Piercing Kenny Taylor's nipples with safety pins while he was drunk off his ass.
Yep.
That was one of my personal favorites.
That was actually in your living room. Pretty much fireworks were involved, paint guns have been involved.
Trolls.
Yeah, trolls, plenty of trolls.
Stupid trolls. There's gooch licking, there's abortions. Not real, of course, but Emo had it coming. There's bats, there's alcohol involved, there's bodies being...
Gil.
You gotta bring him up?
Gil.
You gotta bring him up in the middle of my interview.
Gil.
They brought me here to ask me questions, and you're bringing up that big-eyed, rape-looking motherfucker.
Dude,
in
Gil,
this interview?
You and Gil have
he's
have a
lucky
history.
he's dead.
All right.
Is he dead?
No.
He's not dead?
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Well, if he's dead, I'm digging him
the
up
billboard
and
is
kicking
not
his skull.
the billboard's not dead. Do we need to do a paint thinner on the
I'm going to destroy that building. Mark my words, that building comes up on fire in like 6 months. It was Mike Blitz.
Okay, so this building that, you just got to go watch the video. It's a building that's in Petersburg, but go watch the video. I believe it's called Rape Eyes.
That rape-eyed motherfucker, Gil. Fuck you, Gil, if you're listening.
If I don't imagine,
Fuck Gil's family, too.
But it's definitely one of those more random videos that you'll find. It's just like him talking and spieling and just randomly leading up to one big conclusion of Gil. So definitely go.
Coming.
Juggernaut TV. We definitely got to restart that back up.
You can find that under MADR0, not O, X812 on YouTube. And then always look up the Little Mexicans little YouTube channel if you want to. It's not much really fun on there.
Just matches.
Just matches.
Just matches.
That is under Mike Blitz, spelled just like you think it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because you have a fake name.
Yeah, I guess.
And speaking of which, how can guys and gals, how can people find you guys on social media?
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Just search Michael Madrox. It'll all be linked somewhere together. There's also just the Facebook page for Juggernaut TV. It's Facebook, and just search Juggernaut TV if you want a link to that. Yeah, and this one is all at Mike, BLIT.
What?
Space Z?
No.
No, it's different now?
No. Well, I just pretty much Personally, I don't really get into the whole social media thing. I have it.
If you want his phone number, message me.
No,
I will be
let's not-
selling used
let's
Michael
not-
Blitz underwear out of the trunk of my car for the next 6 months, ladies.
I think Haley's gonna kill you when she listens to this. So I'm just gonna.
His fiance's number under Stupid Troll on Juggernaut TV. Her phone number is listed. So if you want to make fun of her,
Stupid troll.
yeah, that video I actually put her phone number up so people can make fun of her. So that's on there if you guys want it. If you want Mike Blitz, just message me. I'd be happy to give it out.
I think
If
I'm
you want
gonna
anyone's
change my
phone number, I don't really care. I'll give it out to you.
I'm
Mike
changing my
Blitz used
number.
underwear, $2.50. Let me know if you need some.
I'm changing my number. And how'd you even get my underwear?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
I kind of really do want to know.
All right, it started on a stormy Saturday evening.
Okay, this seems like it's gonna be a long story.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that this episode.
All right, we'll save.
I'm
it
just
for
gonna
next
make you
one.
think and wait it out and understand.
Okay, but anyways, yeah, we're gonna end up getting more back to this whole Juggernaut TV thing. We just taken some time off of it, but we're gonna eventually upload more.
DVDs hopefully soon. T-shirts.
Yeah, pretty much.
G-strings.
No.
Women love my face on their crotch.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and do
You're a
that.
pervert for thinking it like that. I was talking about silk screen on a G-string, you nasty man.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's a good note to end on. All right, guys, thanks for being on.
No problem, man.
No problem.
Next time, have bacon.
Special thanks to the Juggernauts, Michael Madrox and Mike Blitz. We hope to get these guys back on the podcast at some point in the future and hear more about their crazy journey as indie wrestlers. But for now, let's get to some upcoming events. May 28th, Tri-State Wrestling hosts Proving Grounds from the Vincennes Eagles Club on Willow Street. Zach Hogan and Will Bray battle for the opportunity to choose the stipulation for their match at Night of Champions on June 25th. Tickets are $5 at the door. All proceeds go to the family of Phyllis Miracle Hall, who recently lost her battle with cancer. Kids 4 and under are free. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7. That's Eastern Time. Also on May 28th, you can check out our newest partner, Coliseum Championship Wrestling. They present Redemption at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum at 300 Court Street in Evansville. Lots of big names on the card for this event, so be sure to check them out if you're in the area. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 with military ID. Kids 5 and under are free. You can also reserve a VIP table. Check their Facebook page for more details. Wednesday, June the 1st, New Focus Wrestling will have a show at the Evansville Memorial Coliseum at 300 Court Street. Match card features names like Tracy Smothers, Cliff Compton, Xander Kelly, Will Bray, Zach Hogan, Scotty Wolf, and many more. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 with military or veteran ID. Kids 5 and under are free. Bell time is at 6:30 Central Time. June 11th, Tri-State Wrestling makes its grand return to the Blue Jeans Center in Monroe City, Indiana. More details are forthcoming about this show, but TSW has partnered with the Blue Jeans Center to do a show there every month for the rest of the summer. We'll bring you those details as soon as we have them. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud, and go rate us. Help the world know about 10 Count Podcast and 10 Count Blog, and get us on that new and noteworthy list on iTunes. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find links to all of those at 10countblog.wordpress.com, and you can check our social media and podcast page and find them there. We're always accepting blog submissions. If you want to write something about wrestling, send it to us, 10countblog@gmail.com, and that can be about any topic you choose, whether that's WWE, local promotions, whatever. Thanks to Rollick for allowing us to use Snorkeling into Oblivion as our theme song. Check them out on Facebook and download their music for free. Be sure to check out the Rollick Frolic June 25th at the Riverfront Pavilion in Vincennes. One last item of business before we go. If you live in southwestern Indiana, southeastern Illinois, or anywhere for that matter, support your local independent promotions. We all have our differences of opinion, and we all have opinions of others, but when it comes down to it, the performers who go out and put on a show, they do that because they choose to put their bodies on the line, and they should be the focus, not the politics or the rumor mill. So go support your local performers and promotions and help keep them going so that they can be enjoyed for years to come. Don't forget to visit us at 10countblog.wordpress.com, subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud, and rate us. It'll take 5 minutes. We'll be back next week with a guest to be announced a little bit later on. Until then, thanks for listening to the 10 Count Podcast.